want to do something with water, bottled water for exports. That's under manufacturing. I want to set up cocoa processing. Process our cocoa, from cocoa to cocoa liquor, cocoa butter, cocoa cake, and maybe eventually into the chocolate. That's the physical manufacturing. You can also do what we call service activity. The service is more of the intangible, if I should put it that way, like the computer data processing, incubation center, call centers. You know, now the world is a global village, and a lot of things are done through the ICT. And Ghana, we want to position ourselves as the center for ICT. And by our location, we have the advantage. Almost all the airlines you can think of in Ghana, in the world, flies to Ghana. You are coming from London 6 hours, you are here. You produce goods and services 6 hours, they are in London or anywhere. Then the other one is the commercial or warehousing. By commercial or warehousing, what we meant is that you use Ghana as the hub or the base to bring in already finished or semi-finished products. You break the bulk, and then you re-export at least 70% or more. Ghana, our ports, Accra and Tema, we are proud to say that we service most of the landlocked countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. They use our ports. So, for instance, if there's any investor who say, okay, I've seen that I can do maybe edible oil business in West Africa. You can decide even to bring the oil in tankers, then bottle them 1 liter, 2 liters, 3 liters, 20 liters, and export to other countries, and then sell less than 30% in Ghana. Or you can say, okay, I want to bring rice in shipload and bag them 5 kilos, 2 kilos, 3, and then export. That's what we call the commercial. The service can also involve the logistic chain. We have companies that are doing shipping, haulage to other landlocked countries. They register with us. They have a fleet of trucks. They come in and they haul goods for the landlocked countries. It's also allowed. And then last is what I term as the zone development. In the normal parlance, we may say that real estate development, but we as an investor call it industrial estate development. The Freezones Authority have got a number of land banks throughout the country, and we are looking for investors to partner the authority to develop the land. Why are we doing this? We at the Freezone Authority have noticed that access to land in Africa or in Ghana is one of the major challenges facing investors, I must admit. Normally, when investors come to Ghana or other West African countries, there's what we call multiple sales of land. You know, when the investor doesn't know the terrain, one parcel of land can be sold to several investors. He starts developing and there's trouble. So we at the authority have taken it upon ourselves that we are going to secure a number of land banks all over Ghana. We put in the infrastructure, water, electricity, access road, sewage, and everything, so that when investors come, it will be like plug and play. They don't have to battle with getting land. So we are looking for investors who can partner us. They will release portions of the land and they will develop, put in the infrastructure. And then like they become the landlord. And together we will market the area. We travel all over the world, tell the people that when you come to Ghana, you don't have problem with land. All the infrastructure needed are there. So that's what we call industrial park or zones development. So these are the 4 main things: commercial, service, manufacturing, and then zone development. When you talk about manufacturing, I give a lot of examples. It can be textiles and garments, light industries, fabrication of hand tools and machinery, jewelry. In Ghana, we have one of the best gold in the world. We are looking for investors who want to come in, not just to mine the gold and take it away, add value. make gold trinkets, gold coins, jewelry for export. And I should be quick to add that the whole free zone concept is value addition. We don't license companies to export raw materials. If you come in and say, I want to go and mine gold and take the gold away, we say no. I want to buy cocoa, raw cocoa beans and export, we say no. I want to get a concession, cut the timber logs and take it away, we will say no. Why? We don't want to take our raw materials out and go and create job for others, because when you take it out, now that you are going to process, you are going to hire people out there to work. Not only hire them, like if you do jewelry production, there are other raw materials or byproducts that you get out of the gold that will take it free. So we won't give you all these incentives and say export our raw materials, add value. And as investors, you know that if you add value, you get higher price at the international market. When you are exporting, you can export less, but the value is higher. So these are some of the things that we do: food processing, shea butter, cashew nuts, palm oil, spices, and of course cocoa. Ghana, we have one of the best cocoa in the world. Other countries just come buy a cocoa and then they mix it to others. So we are promoting the cocoa processing industry. Now, Ghana is among the big boys in the oil and gas industry. Unfortunately, most of the oil is taken away. So we are looking at the downstream, the value addition downstream. That's where we think we can leverage on this oil and gas industry. So companies that want to come in, downstream oil and gas are also welcome under the free zone. As I said, it's export oriented. You can export at least 70% or 100%. Then when it comes to the service, I mentioned business process outsourcing, data entry processing, call centers, software development, ICT, research and incubation. Now Ghana wants to position itself as the research center for the West African sub-region. And if you are aware now with the African Free Trade Area, Ghana, we are going to house the headquarters. So there's the need for a lot of ICT services, back offices. That's one area Ghana can have advantage. So we are looking for investors. Infrastructural development. There's a huge deficit when it comes to infrastructure. And I've mentioned it. It can be built, operate, transfer system, joint venture, and all those things. And one thing about the free zone program is that if you come in as a zone developer, initially, you can say, okay, now I want to manage the electricity, the power, and you can create another company that will be in charge of the power management within the zone. Water. Every company needs water. Now there's a zone developer, a company can come in that I want to build and handle the water distribution, including the sewage, and that is also allowed under the free zone program. Then the commercial warehousing, repackaging, reassembling, rebottling, recounting, all the addition that you can do to already finished product is welcome under the free zone, provided 70% or more is leaving Ghana. I spoke about our land banks, and we are adding on almost every year. Now we have the Tema, we have the Sekendi, we have the Shama, and we have the Ashanti Technology Park. At the moment, we are also looking for land in northern part of Ghana, so that if investors should decide to go there, they will have challenges with land. So quick rundown, the Sekendi land bank is about 2,200 acres of land. For those maybe who are new to Ghana, Accra to Sekendi is just about 30 minutes by air. If you want to go by road, at least 4 hours. You can go along the way, you can stop at Cape Coast and even be a tourist, look at the castles and all those known historical areas. So Sekendi has also got a port. Sekendi Takrady is a twin city. There's a port there. Now, even though the land is not fully developed, we have some companies like Dangote, Wankan, and others who are already doing manufacturing from the area. The beauty of the area is that the natural gas pipeline bisects the land, and there's a gas terminal there. So investors who want to take advantage of the gas terminal, which is cheaper, can tap into the gas as a means of power supply. So we are looking for investors there. Then the other one is the Shama. Shama is also in the western region. It's about 15 minutes before you get to Secondary Accra. There we have over 3,000 acres of land. And the beauty of the Shama one is it borders the sea. So we are looking for investors who can even develop a mini port, a semi-port, to link the Secondary Accra main port. And that place is also ideal for oil and gas, downstream oil and gas activities. At the moment, there's an American company called Black Ivy, and they have acquired about 400 acres of land, and they are developing their own industrial estate. The other one is what we call the Ashanti Technology Park, which is in Kumasi. Kumasi is the second largest city in Ghana. And if you are to talk about the commercial, like the commercial center, there too we have land there, and the land is adjacent to the proposed inland ports. And once the railway system is developed, the Accra-Kumasi railway line will pass through the land, so that investors who want to export to the thermal port can use the railway system. Accra to Kumasi by air is 25 to 30 minutes. By road, the same 4 hours, and you are there. We are looking for investors who want to go into the ICT incubation center, research, and all those things. Warehousing, timber processing, jewelry, cocoa. The Ashanti region and its environs are where the cocoa comes from. There was something about the procedures. Even though it's the bushes, we will quickly go on, and then we have an application form that you have to purchase from the Freezones authority here. The form costs $200 or equivalent in cedis. You purchase it, then you have to incorporate a company in Ghana with the Registrar General Department. And once you incorporate the company, you'll be given certificate of incorporation, certificate to commence business, and then company's regulation. They come automatically with. So during incorporation, you have to indicate your core business that you are going to do. Freezone, normally we deal with core business of companies. We don't want companies, when they register, they want to do everything under the sun. General merchants, building contractors, marketers, name them. So if it's cocoa processing, and when you are going to register, say, I want to do cocoa processing for export. I want to do consultancy for export. I want to do ICT. So that you don't come back here and tell you that go back and amend it. Most of the time, you have that problem. The company comes with a nice plan, everything, and they will look at it, and then everything under the sun, they are doing it. They want to do it. Because of our exemption regime, we want the core business of companies, so that when they are bringing in their goods, we know that this is in line with their operation. Then we have to give us a business plan or a feasibility study. We want to understand the whole business you want to do in Ghana, from the director's background, your production processes, your marketing strategy, export strategy, and we need to know your source of funding. So in the business plan, we expect to see all these in the business plan, so that we will be able to know that at least you are in to produce for export, and you have the funds to work. Another important thing is the environmental impact assessment. Simply, you need an approval from EPA. As I keep saying, as much as Ghana wants investment, we don't want investors to use Ghana as a dumping ground. these days there are a lot of waste from, name them, industrial waste to toxic waste to electronic waste. Shipload of waste sitting on high seas looking for unguarded location to come and dump their waste. We are not ready for that. So the EPA, we have a test officer will come in and they will certify that whatever you want to use in Ghana is going to be environmental friendly. We don't want you to come in, set up in a factory and then smoke, we polluting the whole environment. So that was another requirement. And then evidence of funding. As I said, we want you to know that you are bringing in foreign direct investments. And this investment shouldn't come in portfolios or in your backpack or stuck under your body. No. It should come through any of the approved commercial banks or the central bank. And as I said, I keep hammering, it's an export-oriented operation. So we want you to demonstrate to us that you have the people, the buyers, who are ready to take your products. So evidence show that you can export. And this can be done by maybe sales agreement, MOUs, and any document to show us that yes, there's somebody out of Ghana who is ready to take care of your products. When you say out of Ghana, it can be Togo, Burkina Faso, Mali, or India, any part, UK, any part of the world. That when you produce, they are ready to get it. Then, evidence of lease, rental of land or factory. We want to know where you are going to locate. Because as I said, we are one-stop shop. We don't license companies and leave them as orphans. From time to time, we want to come and visit you, sit down with you, understand your challenges, share in your joys. And because you are going to take whatever you bring in is going to be exempted, we want to make sure that it's taken to your premises and there's no diversion. So we have the monitoring and compliance department that will be visiting you from time to time to sit down with you and then help you with your problems. We are one-stop shop. We walk the talk with you. We don't license you. As I stand here, we have over 200 companies operating under us. And if you ask us where every company is located, we can tell because our people visit them. If we are an existing company, you can also convert. At times, some companies come, they set up because they've not been able to explore the foreign market. They come in through the GIPC or other investment promotion agencies. But when they come in and they are able to establish the export market, you can convert. And if you convert, there are other documents also we expect from you, like tax clearance, audited accounts, so that we know that you've been a good company, corporate entity in Ghana. And as I said, we have over 200 companies, and these are some of them. And most of them are multinationals, operating for parent companies outside. So most of them, even if you go to the shops, you will see their products. But if you go out, you see some of their products. So that's what we do. And this is the information. The brochures are there. Management will share their cards with you. If there are any questions and answers, let us know. Anita is the marketing manager, and he's the workman over the corporate email. He's in on it 24/7. So whatever it is, after that, and every officer here at this office, even though we are a public office, you can be as late as 6 o'clock p.m. officers working. As I said, we're happy to have you. We on our own travel all over the world looking for investors. So if you come here, we hold you in high esteem. So once we are here, that's the final last stop. Other countries, neighboring countries are coming here. They may have the market, but because of certain conditions, they themselves prefer to invest. I don't want to mention it, you know them. They come to Ghana and invest. And when you invest in Ghana, it's a win-win. There are companies that came in very small scale, now they are multinationals. You don't have enough time. Maybe next time you are coming, let us know way ahead. And we can agree to take you to some of our industrial parks, some of the companies, to see things for yourselves. Oh, this thing is made in Ghana. So we are there for you now. Our team is here. They are ready for all your questions. So that's why you should. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I think I'll go first. So
anybody, any question?
So thank you very much, sir, for that.
Don't direct it to me.
Introduction. No, I won't direct it. It was very, informative, and I think you even answered a lot of the questions that I initially had in place, but I still have plenty anyway. So I think I'll kick off with the first one. So in terms of setting up the cocoa processing, I obviously need a bean supply agreement from the cocoa board. So at what point do I then get in contact with yourself in terms of initiating the process and having that tax exemption in place? When do I actually formally let you know, or is it as early as possible?
Okay, let me answer that question. Cocoa processing is one of the, I would say, the monopolized economy in Ghana. Whoever wants to set up a cocoa processing, you need a corporation of cocoa board, because cocoa is controlled. No matter your investment, you can put up a multi-billion company. If you don't have the cocoa purchase agreement with cocoa board, your factory will be a white elephant. So right from the word go, you have to engage the cocoa board, and then based on your production capacity, you ask a few questions. The tonnage you want, your production capacity, you sign an agreement with them, and then you have to make provision for warehouses, because the cocoa season is in 2 parts, so that you can store enough cocoa to feed your factory. So you can't do cocoa processing in Ghana without cocoa board. So the earlier you get in touch with them, the better. When you come in, we can give you an introductory letter that you want to process cocoa, so whatever assistance they can offer you.
Okay.
Yes. We can't actually sign the agreement with you. You have to down cocoa board. Yes. So that's the first step.
So then the other part is obtaining the land for the manufacturing. So obviously you've run us through the presentation and you've given us the size of the freezone. So in terms of how big the plant will be, is it dictated by how much land is on offer, or do I now set a plan and say, okay, this is how much I'm planning to, or this is how much land I will need, and then let you know? Because obviously,
exactly, you answered this. You know the size of your production operation.
All right.
So you will tell us that maybe I need 10 acres of land, I need 2 acres of land, and then we start from there. The land is apportioned in acres.
Okay. So then, in terms of the support that you provided, what other? So obviously you'll be regularly checking into the business and whatnot, and see how it's going. Yes. But are there any other sort of support services that you provide alongside the tax exemptions?
As I indicated, most of our incentives are tax-based, and other support services like most of the time we attend international trade fairs. We take along our investors with them, so that we help them to market their product outside. And also, once you become a free zone company, whatever you need, even when it comes to power, in Ghana here, whatever power you consume, there's a tax element on it. That tax element is taken off. I mean, normally if you can, it's a huge chunk of money.
Yeah.
If you come to water, you don't pay the tax element on it. And then a lot of business in Ghana complain about bureaucracy. We take care of all the bureaucracy for you. That's one of the things we do.
So I've still got a few more questions, so not to take the floor or anything like that. But so one of my plans was to actually bring in people from abroad, maybe a few who are actually skilled in managing the machines and obviously to train other people. So I wasn't quite sure what you said. Is there a limit in how many people you can then bring across to actually train and develop the people to, run the machines and whatnot. Obviously, it won't be for the long term, but in the short term, just to get the plant and the process running. You know, is there a limit on the specific amount of people that can come from abroad?
No, as I said, there's no limit. But I give a caveat that it should be skills that is not available in Ghana.
Okay.
And in cocoa processing, I know that normally, looking at the investment, when you buy the machine, if some of the suppliers would like to bring their people to install and train, like train up the trainers, how to manage the equipment for some time. And then you yourself as an investor will see that the Ghanaians are so skillful that within the shortest possible time, they can take over and do the work keeping this expatriate right.
Exactly.
Because when you bring expatriate by the ticket, how's the person, and the amount that you, and because cocoa has been Ghana's backbone, the skills of handling cocoa processing is endless. And then even if I should add, assuming you start production, in the course of production, a machine breaks down, you need to fly one of the suppliers to come. We can arrange what we call visa on arrival.
Okay.
For instance, the person being far away in China, not Wuhan. You can't go to the baby Ghana consulate, if you inform us, we can arrange what we call the migration service here, visa on arrival, so that we get for the person a letter from immigration, show it in the airline, but there will be visa waiting for the person here. So as soon as he gets here, they will allow him to enter. Sure. So these are some of the services we provide for the investors.
Okay. So just a final question then. So in terms of after the 10 years, you said that obviously initially you begin with a 15% corporation tax. So after that 10 years, what rate does it now go to?
15%. You know, apart from the corporate tax, which after the 10 years you pay 15%, all the other incentives that I mentioned is in perpetuity, as long as you are in our good books. When I say you are in our good books, it means that your ability to export is 70%, provided with your audited accounts, compliance. Mr. Abuga is head of compliance, so he's the policeman. He will tell you what you don't do, he will also punish you. So Mr. Abuga, tell them what thing they don't do, he punish you.
Okay. What happened is that the 10 years basically was just set a record for the past credit purpose only. What it means is that after 10 years, you are still a freezone company, and you still enjoy all the incentives under the sun, so far as the rules and regulations is concerned. The only difference is that you will pay corporate tax after 10 years, which is currently 15%. Now, what happens is that the corporate tax, right, it is not computed directly on your net profit. As you all know, if you have some knowledge in accounting or taxation matters, it simply means that when the year ends and your accounts are prepared, right, after all this, you will come to what? The net profit. The 15% is not going to be computed direct on the net profit and come and then pay it. Your tax consultants will do what? The computation. In taxation matters, there are certain things they call what? Add backs. So they will take your net profit, add back certain items. They call what? Allowable and disallowable items. At the end of the day, you will come to what? A figure. That figure is called the chargeable income. So that chargeable income will now attract what? The 15%. So if you keep your books properly, at the end of the day, even though you may make net profit, at the end of the day you may not pay any profit, any tax, because of what is called the capital allowance computation. You may have what? A lot of capital allowances that may be taking you up to 2, 4, 5 years, especially companies of your nature, which you are going to bring in what? A lot of what? Of capital equipment, which will attract a lot of what? Capital expenditure. I don't know what they get it. So your tax is not necessarily going to be based on the profit, on the net profit. The net profit is what is the basis upon which the corporate tax was computed and then paid. And as I said, apart from that, there are other taxes, like withholding taxes, right? VAT, and then whatnot, are all exempted. So the only difference in summary is that after 10 years, it's only the corporate tax that you pay. All other things remains same. Thank you.
And then to quickly ask something. If we're a free zone company, whatever you buy on the local market here in Ghana, the VAT, as you say, you don't pay. So whatever you do, any tax on it, whatever, say building materials, if you are buying raw materials, if you are buying anything locally, that also is taken care of.
So sorry, just one more question. In terms of remaining a what's it called, a free zone organization, is there a yearly renewal or what is involved in all of that?
Yes, there is. If you look at the brochure you placed before you, this page where we have the world map, we've listed the fee, the initial fees, what we call the license fee, and the annual renewal. So, if you bring in your application, as I said, you buy the application at $200 or equivalent in cedis. And then when our board approves the application, and if for a manufacturing company, you pay $3,000 as the licensing fee. Commercial company, you pay $10,000. Service, you pay $4,000. Developer, you pay $5,000. And every year, the renewal fee is there. And all these fees can be paid in cedis at our exchange rate.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
And then the beauty is that if we're a free zone company, you come to us on everything. You come to us, we will advise. My head of administration said that even if you want to get a Ghanaian wife or girlfriend, we can help you. Oh, Ghanaian husband.
I just want to say thank you so much for the presentation. It was really quite detailed, and I didn't actually realize the service angle in terms of the area of operation. So that was really quite interesting. I wanted to know if you have any companies operating like BPOs and you know that kind of call center service in the free zone end at the moment.
Compliance or marketing.
No, currently we don't have. We used to have that, currently we don't have.
I had a question, probably for Anita actually, to get a better understanding on sort of what you focus on from a marketing perspective. Is it marketing the authority as a whole, or do you offer any sort of support services for some of the businesses with their marketing globally, or so is it with the individual businesses or the authority or both?
We are marketing both, and we also offer handholding services for companies that are licensed under us. So when there are programs, we invite them, we let them know about the exhibitions abroad, and we try to link them with suppliers or buyers.
Do you do anything by way of digital strategy or anything from a digital perspective with them? Or is it mainly sort of exhibition, traditional marketing?
So at the moment, we don't have anything digital for the services that we're providing, but we are managing the social media handles and trying to organize a database so that we can reach out to them properly and then reduce the use of paper, because in the past we've used a lot of paper to communicate events and all that. So now we have some digital platforms that we use to communicate with our companies.
And the American side business development and research, their core business is to identify companies, do marketing. So let us just a few words about how you are helping the companies.
Yes, I think she mentioned it. So we get requests from companies. I need contacts in the Freezone. I need companies who are also into this. We get them in match with, as she said. We also interact with dormant companies. Some might have lost their markets along the line, so we get them in contact with other markets. So we have those interactions with them, but it's not together.
Hello. Just a question in terms of if you say you have a warehouse or a commercial agreement in the Freezone and you've got a workforce working for you, what are the sort of payments that you're liable for in terms of insurances for the workers? Have you got like maternity cover you need to cover, or the social insurances you need to pay for each worker?
I'll try to answer that. One thing under the Freezone is that the fact that you don't pay a lot of taxes doesn't mean that you don't pay. When it comes to workers, you have to pay their pay. There's something called pay as you earn to government. You have to pay their social security and other obligations to the workers. And then in Ghana here, there's what we call the minimum wage, which you can't pay below a laborer. That is set. When we're employing, we can go above, but we can't pay below. But one thing we've noticed is that most of the Freezone companies, by virtue of the fact that they are multinational companies, even pay higher than the normal companies, just to motivate them to work, give out their best to meet their financial orders. So, depending on the agreement you have with the workers, you can set up a team that will negotiate on like benefits for the workers, so that you motivate them. So that's one thing. There are certain basic things you can't run away. Income tax you have to pay, social security you have to pay, all those things. Mr. Abuga will help me. He said that's what.
Yeah, the Freezone regulation we have what a full gamut of regulation that the Freezone enterprise are supposed to do it for their workers. One of the most important things is that you have no right to restrict any of your workers who want to join any trade union. Want to employ them, and then the workers want to, form a union in the workplace. You don't have to restrict them. Number two, as Mr. Sen said, you are not supposed to pay them below the national minimum wage. Currently, the national minimum wage in Ghana, effective January 1, 2020, is 11.58. That is 11 cedis, 58 pesos. Yes, that is the national minimum wage. It doesn't mean that religiously you have to go that, you can go more than that, but that is just the basic. And then two, you are also required to use not less than 5% of the total annual wage bill of the local employees in training work to local employees. What it means is that you have two types of employees. You have the experts and then you have the Ghanaians. January to December, per your budget, you are supposed to spend this 60,000 cedis for the local employees. The law enjoins you to compute 5% of that 60,000 cedis. You will get an X figure or an X amount. That X amount should be used in training what the local employees. Why is this so? It is so just simply because of what Mr. Nsiah highlighted in the first lesson. We have what is called technology transfer. So when your people do engineers come and then mountain machines and then whatnot, right? At the end of the day, they are going. Is that not it? So when they go who take over is the Ghanaians. Okay, therefore it makes sense to give what? appropriate technical training to the employee. It is compulsory. So when the officers come for audit, right, and they join the year and the review, they see that you are supposed to be, let's say, $25,000 in training the, just an example anyway, in training the local employees, and then per their competitions, you have used only $15,000 in training them. The difference of 10,000 cedis must be paid to Freezone. That is the rule. That is the rule with penalty. So far your employees concerned, there's a whole package for which you have to attend to them because they are actually what making your sources for you. Thank you so much.
Especially the people. When you say training, that doesn't mean you have to take them outside the country or maybe it can be inside.
No. It can be outside. It can be that's all.
So just because I'm just thinking, I deal a lot with China, right? China, when we do auditings in China, they have 5 different kinds of social insurance you have to pay: healthcare, maternity cover, unemployment. So when the auditing comes, and that's a country legislation. So when you're not paying the worker, many of the factories out there, they don't pay the worker all 5, maybe they pay 2. But then when you say to the factory, okay, you have to pay all 5, they say, but that's too much money. So I just wanted to clear up that is there any law in Ghana that you have to pay the worker these extra insurances, unemployment or maternity cover, or this kind of thing?
Yeah, in Ghana, the law that regulates the activities of all employees in Ghana is what the Labor Act. There's a law to that. So you are supposed to go religiously according to that. And that is why Mr. Nsiah said, when you come to Ghana, you see, it is better for you to find what a Ghanaian consultant possibly. They will take you through because you are going to draw what they call service condition to your employees. So one day no return, they will help you to draw what a better condition of service for your employees, so that it will benefit both you, the employer, and the workers as what employees.
Thank you.
So I had a question. So as an organization, I mean, our main focus is to help the Ghanaian in the diaspora link up with investment opportunities, back in Ghana. And so I wanted to ask a question specifically if the Freezones, looking at obviously the African Continental Trade Area agreements coming up, is there a specific drive towards any area of your operations? So you talked about the services, manufacturing, zone development, and currently, what percentage of companies do you have set up in all of this? This is just a lead up to my other question regards the BPO, because potentially what I want to be able to do is identify a list of opportunities that could easily go back to London and say, these are like the areas you could potentially come and set up in, and the Freezones are there to be able to facilitate, because this falls within your remit.
That's a good question. So we can let us know whatever information about what you are talking about, and our IT department, together with the marketing, will provide for you. So I believe maybe Ghana is not the only country we are trying to go, so that whenever you go back and meet other investors, you can be our ambassador. So we are ready to work with you. So let us, maybe before the meeting, before you leave Ghana here, and later your focal person. Let us know all what you need, information. If you need extra brochures to take it along with you, we pay all this and then let you